Hi, I'm Empty Pockets and welcome to Pockets World. In this tutorial I'll show you how to upgrade either mud farm or concrete generator into a fully industrial scale machine. By swapping out a few key components to create a movable wall, you can significantly increase production rates. For demonstration purposes I'll be using a concrete generator, but the same principles apply just as effectively to mud farms. This guide is suitable for players of all levels, though it's especially useful for those working on mega builds who need serious output. With that said, let's jump straight in. Let's start by making the generator itself. For that you're going to need 4 solid blocks of your choice, 1 redstone repeater, 1 leaf block, 1 water bucket, 1 piston and 1 piece of redstone. Start by laying down 3 solid blocks in this pattern here. On one side you want a leaf block and you want to waterlog that. In the middle you want to place a piston, and under that you need your redstone torch, and to this side you want 1 piece of redstone dust, and on the side of the piston you want another solid block. That should now be working. As you can see, that works perfectly fine. Now to build the automatic feed system so you don't have to move and collect blocks from other places. You can do it all on spot. For that you're going to need 1 repeater, 1 solid block of your choice, 2 pieces of redstone, 1 target block, 1 dropper, 1 hopper and 2 chests. Place a redstone repeater behind this block with the redstone on. In front of that redstone repeater you want to place a solid block. To the side and under that block you want to dig a hole and bring it out next to the repeater. In that hole you want to place 2 pieces of redstone dust, a target block, and on top of that target block you want to place your dropper facing towards you. In the back of that dropper you want your hopper, and on top of that hopper you want a double chest. And that is your system complete. Now you will need to make a decision where to place a piston wall. This end or that end. That end maximises productivity but gives you a larger footprint. This end shrinks that footprint for the actual mechanical build but loses slight productivity. For maximum productivity you will need your pistons pushing outwards to begin with, like here. I'll leave this in a link above and at the end of the video. That applies to the mud farm and the concrete generator. I'm going to place my piston wall this end and develop the build from there. At the end of the video I will show you a full version that gives you maximum productivity. For this build you're going to need 11 pistons, 20 blocks of your choice, an observer, 2 redstone repeaters and about 19 pieces of redstone dust. Starting with your pistons you want to place one there, leaving a gap here between this redstone torch and this piston. You put a piston in there, it fires upwards and won't move. You want to put your line of 11 pistons here. I've marked mine, so that's the 11th piston there. Along the back here you want to place 11 blocks. You want to come out 1, 2, 3 from there and add another few blocks here. I believe that's it, yes. So that's 8 blocks this end, 1 there and all at the back there. On top of that last piston place a temporary block, and facing into that put an observer. Coming out of that observer you want a redstone repeater, and into that redstone repeater you want another one placed on 2 ticks. The rest is redstone. From this point here all the way round to the end of the pistons. Now if I put a block in front of that observer, it should push upwards. The next part of the build is modular, and for that you're going to need 44 pistons, 24 solid blocks of your choice, a repeater and 23 redstone. Start by placing piston facing forwards on top of these redstone dust. And on top of those pistons place another row until you have 4 rows. Come round to the back, and the top row you want to place solid blocks all along until the end. Miss a row and do the same again. Place a temporary block, place 2 blocks there, take that one out. On top of these you want your redstone dust. With the redstone dust on the end here, and the repeater going into this block. That's one complete module. I'll bring you back in once I've done the rest. This build requires 3 of those modules, making the total height 12 pistons and 11 wide. This is what the modules look like at the back. They're identical. Just the top one serves the top 4 pistons, the middle one the middle 4 pistons, and the bottom one the bottom 4 pistons. This is where you link up the power source. So let's get this linked up. For this spinning part you're going to need 1 observer, 13 solid blocks of your choice, 3 redstone repeaters, 10 redstone dust and 5 redstone torches. Let's start by placing the power circuits that's going to control these modules. You want a temporary block there, with 1 out there. This one's your solid block. You want another temporary block between there and there, and come out with a solid block. Take those 2 out. And you want redstone dust on top of each of those blocks that are floating. Stick it into a blob if you want, doesn't make a difference. On those, you want to stick a redstone torch on each. One there, and one there. For some reason that hasn't got redstone on. There we go, has now. As you can see, the pistons are fired outwards. Now we've got to link this one up. That's fairly straightforward. You stick a temporary block there and you face an observer into it. Place another temporary block under the observer and bring out by 2. You've got 2 this way, and you want to add another 4 blocks there like so. So you've got 3 by 2 and another 2 blocks here, making that area there 4 by 2. On the side of that, right opposite the observer, you want another block and bring that out by 3 this way. On the side of that block, another torch. And on the ends of these modules here, now on top of here, this little platform you produced, you need a redstone repeater coming out of the observer. You want 4 pieces of redstone in that configuration, and you want a repeater going into the first repeater there, set to 2 ticks, just like down the bottom there. You then want to link up this line with this one. So this is now linked to that repeater there, so that will fire that set of 4 pistons. Opposite the observer, you want to place another redstone dust. Out of that, you want another repeater, and you set that to 2 ticks. And on in front of that, you want a piece of redstone dust. And that should be the circuit complete. So if I actually come down the bottom here and build up, see it pushes up and build up 12 blocks. Now, as soon as that gets out there, the whole thing moves out. Now imagine a wall of concrete or mud that just gets pushed out. So its limit is 12 blocks that way. What I like about this modular system is you can have a 4 modular system, an 8 modular system, or a 12 modular system. In fact, you can break it down to 2 pistons per module if you so wish, making it more versatile. That is the build complete. That is your industrial concrete farm. This works exactly the same for the mud farm. There is no difference. The maximum capacity of this unit is 1,727 blocks of either concrete or mud. That's pretty impressive. That's 1 block shy of 1 single full chest. By taking this unit here to replace this unit here and aligning it properly, you will not need to change anything on this wall at all. I will come to the figures on this one shortly, but there is one more additional piece I can add to this to increase the capacity, so much so it should double or even treble depending on how high you want to go. To increase this one's capacity to double, you're going to need to add an additional piece at the back here. This, once it reaches this point, will push out this way. Once the observer here picks up a line, it will pull it in and push it up, and that goes all the way up another 12 blocks until it pushes out, and it will continue doing so until it reaches this end. Now the way this works is it pulls in, as you can see, then pushes up. What is needed is a line of sticky pistons rather than normal pistons facing horizontally, and these normal pistons facing up. Around this side we've still got the same system as over there, except this repeater is set to 3 ticks. It just pushes the block back if you don't. The rest is the same here. That leads out into a line of redstone into this repeater, which fires this line here. That pushes these sticky pistons out and retracts them. It also fires this repeater, which must be set to 4 ticks, otherwise it locks up the system and won't go. That fires into this block. This block then sends a signal through this redstone here into these redstone repeaters into a bottom block attached to the normal pistons facing upwards. It's a fairly simple circuit, it just looks a little more complicated than it actually is. I'm sure you can build that just by looking at it. So if you want to double your capacity, that's the way to do it. If you want to triple it, you build another one of these units here, this side, when it reaches this end. And you can stack these on top of each other as high as you like, depending on your render distance. I believe, I'm not 100% certain, I believe something like this would work in Bedrock. Please let me know in the comments if it doesn't and I'll come up with a solution. By itself, this unit here with this will produce up to 1872 blocks once it's locked up. If you're making mud, however, you've got to remember you can only do 11 pistons in a row. I believe I've covered everything in this episode, but if I've missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I've kept the redstone relatively simple so that anyone looking to mass produce blocks on a large scale can easily follow along. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, smash that like button, it really helps the channel out. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion below and consider subscribing if you want to see more. And thank you to everyone who's already subscribed and supporting the channel, and to all those that watch. I'm Empty Pockets and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.